Hi guys, Hamish here. Today we're going to be having a look at this Diesel Railcar Simulator. A bit of a first look. It's quite an interesting one, this one. It's not your typical rubbish simulator that you see all over Steam. It's actually quite good. I've had a little bit of a play around with it. In fact, it's been on my hard drive for about a year now. And I haven't got around to making a video on it. So I thought I would do that today. Just to show you what it's all about, because it is actually very good. And even in its state at the moment, I'd say it's worth picking up, especially if it goes on sale this Christmas. So what is it all about? It's basically driving these old British Rail DMUs here, which we can see. There's about 4 which come with it. The 112, the 117, the 122, and the 126. I believe this is the 117 just here. There's a few differences between them all, but generally they're pretty similar. Now, what we'll do is we'll just find ourselves a route to drive on. There's a few here. We've got a quick start, which seems to be a bit like the I'm feeling lucky button in Google. We just click on it and it'll load up a random route and random train, something like that. You've then got these different routes here. So we've got full route 1. If you click here, you can see we've got a map of that route, which it's a nice little route. It's not too long, and there's also a whole load of services for it. You'll see here that you can actually filter it. I've got good for video on there, for obvious reasons, but you can also have a look through here, and you can see some of the different sort of filters you can put on here. And there's quite a lot of services. It's much like if you've seen the services thing in Train Sim World, it seems to be a little bit like that. Then we've got the same sort of thing here going on for Route 2. If we look at the map, you can see there's a bit more going on here. And the demo route, which I believe is a lot smaller. Yes, there you go. Now, we're going to be having a go at Route 2 here. I did have a look. I did try and find one that looked like a nice one to drive, which was this one here. So the class 117, as we can see, we've got 2 of them here, and we're going to go for this little journey here. So we've got a bit of a semi-fast going on. We'll be able to get some speed up, because getting speed up in these things is actually quite hard. It does take some time. So it gives you a little bit of information on this, and you'll see this button here. You can also go for a rescue scenario, which is an interesting one, where it's basically the same scenario, but first you have to rescue the train with another one from a depot, and then you can continue with it. But we'll go with the normal scenario today. Sometimes I've noticed that fails and it just sort of crashes out, but we'll go with the normal one for now. So we'll click drive here, and it does load very fast. Although that has been because I quickly loaded this up before just to make sure it was working. But generally speaking, loading times are very quick. Now once we're in, what we need to do is we need to look over here on the left hand side, and you'll be able to see that we haven't got any lights on, which means the engines basically aren't started. So if we press K, we'll insert the switches and everything, and that then means that we can start the engines up, which is the U. You can see the tachometer coming up there, and we've also got a buzzer telling us we can leave, and then O. Now, once we've done that, we can knock this into gear, so we move this lever here with the W key, and you can see then that the gearboxes are functioning correctly on all of the units. So if we look outside, you can see we've got six coaches, but 4 of which are powered. The 2 middle ones, if you look at where the exhausts are, they've not got any exhaust, so they don't have an engine. Now once we've done that, we had that buzzer, so we can reply back if we want to, and then we can get this going. So we already put it into gear, so we put it into forwards. So if we use the E and the R keys, it's R to press that into 1 to get started, release the brake, and apply a little bit of power. The brake does take quite some time to come off. But eventually we get there. I do get the feeling kind of stressing this a little bit. I shouldn't apply quite so much power on it right now. Oh, it certainly takes a while. And then we can start pulling away. You might be wondering, Amish, you need to put the lights on. Lights appear not to be modelled at the moment, and neither is a day-night cycle, so that kind of makes a little bit of sense. But if you have a look at the front of the model here, you can see that there are no lights just there. And there's not even anywhere to put yourself a tail lamp on the back. So this is simulating the old rail cars, which had the manual shifting here. And this is quite interesting because, like in my last video where I drove one of these, but not in this game, you have to do this shifting thing by yourself. So basically, if you watch the yellow lever, the yellow needle, when it gets up to this point, you need to change gear and move up to the next one. And if you want to coast, best idea is to put that into fourth. Otherwise, supposedly you can damage the gearbox, although I don't know if that's simulated. Anyway, right, we're coming up to 40 speed board, and past that, so we can speed up now. There is AI fully implemented there as well, which is nice to see. And another great feature, actually, if you watch the mouse cursor just there, and then it disappears on its own. Something I wish Dovetail games would learn from. So generally speaking, this mechanism is quite nice. It works quite well. It does feel like you are actually doing it in person. Actually, it's been quite well thought out, the physics there. Now, generally looking at the map, you might see it doesn't look. Well, it doesn't look amazingly realistic. I don't know why I was slowing down there. The graphics are okay. I'd go as far to say. The sounds are a bit of a mixed bag as well. I'd say it's functional, is what it is, and I think there are plans to make it look a little bit better. Although I think it might just be down to the mapping, the use of these massive viaducts, which I'm not quite sure are terribly realistic. There are plans apparently to bring out a editor soon, and I have seen a few videos of that and how that works, which looks quite interesting. Now, if you're familiar with the editor in, say, Railworks or something like that, where you have to sort of place objects manually, in this you just specify where you want to put a platform, and it sort of auto-generates it, which is quite interesting. It sort of explains why some of the scenery looks very similar in this, but it could be a really quick way of creating long routes. Now, we've got about 60 miles an hour we can go up to at the moment. This really is quite a long viaduct. And then we're going to get up to 70 in a little bit as well. That's quite nice. One thing to have a look at is these different views. You know, like I was saying, it does look okay. I don't know about these mountains in the back, but I'd say it looks pretty good. I have basically got the graphics maxed out at the moment. And talking about the sounds, I'd say at the moment it does sound quite nice. So the sort of the track running sounds, I just want to sit in here as we go over the points over just here, and just have a listen to that, because I think that sounds quite good as well. So yeah, I mean, I think that's done very well. Probably the best I've seen that done in the game. Where sounds like the horn, I'm not quite so sure about, and also the buzzer. They're not quite right, I don't think. But I mean, it is a small thing. Of course, there are some different views as well that we can go in and have a look in. One of the reasons that track sounds might be quite good is because if I get the view right, if you just have a look at that, you can actually see that they've modelled the physics very accurately. On some of the track, you can actually see we've got fish plates on it, But this track here appears not to have that, but you can actually see it bouncing as it goes over those with a dip in the rail, which is really nice to see. So that's quite an interesting bit of physics going on there. It's probably the best bit in the game. The track itself is quite good. You can see we're just going around this bend with the super elevation on it, which is nice to see as well. So I generally say they've done quite a good job. Now, on the bottom there, you can see we've got this sort of heads-up display. It's much nicer, I think, than the Railworks one, because it is a lot smaller. But you can see we've got a station coming up, and these little blobs, like pin markers, are where the signals are. And you can see this one here, Ashwell Rington, we're going to be passing that. And it also gives us the times. So it would look like we're actually going to be a little bit late, perhaps because I was too busy blethering at the start. Now, I have had a look on the workshop recently for this route, this simulator even, and there are a few different scenarios you can find even, which looks quite interesting. I haven't tried any out, so that might be something to try, but you can create your own scenarios and routes for this as well, so that's nice to see is that coming out. I also believe, looking at the sort of what they're planning to release, the roadmap, we've got things such as diesel locomotives coming out, so not just these multiple units, but actually, hold on, yeah, that doesn't sound too good either, but hopefully some more interesting rolling stock as well. So that there, now look, that signal there was at danger, which would imply that the next one will be at danger as well, or more like that one was a warning. So what we'll do is we'll just slow down here. We've got a 40 limit to reach anyway. In fact, I might need to apply the brakes a little bit more vigorously if we're going to stop in time. Should be okay. You might notice, there we go, the signal's off. So we'll try and select the right gear and bring the power back on. I'll have to drop it down again. I think we might be taking the diverging route here and heading over to the right. You'll see there's a cluster of these speed signs lying around. I think that's because of the auto-generated thing. No, we're not going over there actually. So it does actually make them quite hard to read at times. Anyway, that was an interesting signal check. I've killed my momentum, I can't get back up to speed now. Anyway. Here we go, we got up to that point. Shift down. Change up. Then bring in the next gear. It's fine on the flats like this, but if you're going uphill, it's an absolute pain. I mean, you'll change up and then you just can't make any more progress, and then you'll be slowing down again. So it's quite a challenge to drive actually. In terms of performance, at the moment, it's running completely smooth, which is very nice to see. However, I was testing it earlier and I was getting, quite choppy frame rates in places. So it does seem to depend on what it's got loaded in, how well it performs. Though we don't have any of the sort of tile loading lags. It loads in the next area of the map, which is nice to see. That was always one of the worst things of Railworks. It's good to see that this signal is also clear. Now you'll have to let me know what you think, but I've hopefully fixed the audio in this video. In the last one, I was listening and I was like, it's not very good. So I did have a little bit of a play, just to see if I can get it sounding a bit better. I think it's mostly just me not using the microphone properly, but hopefully it is a bit better. If it's not, do let me know, and I will try and fix that. Anyway, coming up here, it looks like we've got a station stop, so let's ease off the power and apply a bit of the brake, because I don't want to overshoot this. I'm not sure if... is that the station there? Yeah, that's our station just there. I still quite haven't got a hang of the sort of the braking physics in this. Certainly I think the longer your train gets, the longer it takes for the vacuum brake to release. Which is true, because you've got to build up that vacuum again. But it does sometimes catch you out at times like this, when you release it and you wonder why you keep slowing down. I'm just noticing the lighting that is doing something weird here. I haven't noticed that before. Sort of getting dark and then light again. Hopefully it is early access and that sort of thing will get fixed and sort of graphics improved. There we go, it's back again. As we see this develop. And I think the developer has said that. So what we were 6 cars long, which means we're looking for this marker here. These are quite interesting markers. I've never actually seen any like this before, so I don't know if they're realistic or if they're not. Are we going to reach it? You think the back is in the platform? Oh, I think we might as well just stop. And you don't have to go and like release the doors once you've stopped. Everyone else just piles out. There's no sort of manual, they're just manual doors. There's no interlock or anything like that on them. Now, while we're in the station, I'll show you something we can do. We can actually get up out of our chair and go for a walk. So we can kind of, can't go very far, we can walk over here, look out the window. Alright. They all look very still. Like they're all in shock. Maybe the train's been cancelled. British Railways, after all. And you can walk back. You can't go anywhere like through here or anything. In fact, that's not even a door. But you can go and you can stick your head out. That's what I'm saying. Alright. Nice view. That sort of thing. They don't even get in their train or anything. They just sort of stand there. And you can do the same thing in the passenger view, so you can sort of get out your seat, walk over here, have a look. Annoyingly, you can't go down carriage, which is a shame, so it's sort of a bit of a pointless feature, I think, here, but it's quite nice to show them, see that's there. Now, you've probably been saying, you don't need to stop here. I've just noticed I don't need to stop here. I'm like, why haven't I got a buzzer? Why have I not got a buzzer? It says here, right here, pass. Coldockwell. That's where I am. Okay, let's go. Everyone's screaming. It's like, Hamish, don't stop. You don't need to stop. Okay, well, we're going to be late now. You can know, well, see why they're looking so shocked now. It's because, no, we just stopped here. Like, what's that train? Can I get on it? Right, let's keep going. Let's go on to our next one. We've passed there now 6 minutes late. So, that's good. That's good. We're just trying to keep up British Railways tradition, that's all. You know, I've just noticed that these telegraph poles actually have no wires running between them. Now hopefully that means that we won't have any more signals set against us. We'll have a quick route in to the end of the run today. So less of a semi-fast, more of a stopping. That's what we've done. So you can get out, you can have a little look around at what's going on. I don't know quite about these exhaust fumes, to be honest. They look a little bit static, to be honest. They don't seem to be as dynamic as you'd hope, as you'd think they should be. Maybe it's the fact that they're all doing exactly the same thing. I think one of the best things with the camera is that you can move it around like this, and it's in relation to the train, which means you can get some nice screenshots if you want to, by lining it up correctly. And we've got a 50 limit here going around this bend. Not doing it quite so much here, but sometimes it really does seem to shake around quite a lot. And I really don't know how realistic that is. I know that it will move, but some of the shaking going on seems a little bit over the top. So that might be something that could do with being tweaked. Again, it's like a small thing. In terms of how this compares with the likes of Railworks or Train Sim World, well, it doesn't do as much, that's for sure. I mean, you have basically what you can see today is what you've got. You've got those 4 different classes of train, and you've got these routes, 3 routes that come with it. So there's not a huge amount you can do. Though that said, it's still being worked on with the editor coming in soon, so hopefully that will see some interesting routes and that kind of thing being produced. I'd quite like to have a go at the editor myself and see what you can actually do with it. See if it is possible to import your own assets, create your own game art for it. That would be quite interesting to see. If you could do that, I'd like that quite a lot. And if that's the case, it'd be really quite interesting to see where this could go. One concern I do have with this is it is built upon Unity. And I don't think Unity's well known for being the best at handling large worlds, is what I heard anyway. So that might be some concern, depending on how large you want the routes to be. These ones do seem quite big, but obviously if you want to go from London up to Edinburgh, this is going to be quite a large map, a lot larger than this one. Anyway, what's this signal doing over here? I think that's still set against us. Come on, I'm late. Yeah, it's definitely still at danger. Thing is, I do actually stop at this station, so maybe I'm moving over into the side or something to maybe let an express pass. That'd be interesting. There are quite a lot of different sort of scenarios you can do with this. We've got the semi-fast, which I'm doing here. You've also got some express, and you've also got stopping. And there's a few different routes, such as branch line routes, which are single track, and the double track ones, which I'm on here. So there's quite a lot of variety in it, even though it's just those 2 routes that we've got. Anyway, it looks like I've got the side route just here. Never quite guessed those gears quite right. Again, that lighting's changing all the time. A bit weird. While I was saying there's no day-night cycle, there is a sort of morning to evening cycle. So you do see the day change, which is quite nice. It does look quite good in the mornings as well. Again, I think I've come in a little bit too short here if we have a look at the back. Yeah. Need more power. So yeah, I've not quite got the hang of driving them in this, even though I can do them pretty well in Railworks. Anyway, there we go. I think we're actually meant to stop here as well, so that's good. I mean, you'll notice that things like the stations all look the same, down to that sort of auto-generated nature of them, I guess. Which is why when I'll be interested to see when the editor comes out, if you can create your own ones that look different, or if you have to go with the same style, you know, red signs, this brickwork, with the same models on the station as they've got here, and the same with the bridges as well. I'm 7 minutes late now. Let's get back up to speed. So it is interesting to think where the future for this is, what might come out of this. I think I've seen it hinted that the developer's saying that this is more of a test bed for ideas rather than something that's going to become a final project or a finished game or something like that. So this might end up just being a bit of a testing ground for something else they're working on, which would be quite nice to see as well. I don't know if you can see it on the track just there, but you can see there's actually fish plates coming up. If we go into this view, you can see the bogies there sort of dipping as it goes over them. That is really nice to see. But the question is, what is the future of train sims? Is it this? I don't think so. Is it Train Sim World? I don't think so either, to be honest. I will try and do a review of that at some point, and my thoughts on that. And there's also Trains with a Z on the end of it, which is interesting. I've never played it, but some people have, and people like it. And it seems they've put in quite a lot of work on that over the past few years, so that might be one to have a look at. Maybe do a bit of a roundup and see which one is the future, or maybe it's not here yet. But it's certainly an interesting point as Railworks sort of comes towards the end of its life, a bit like MSTS did back in the days, although I never played that. At the moment, Railworks is still, you know, the strong favourite, as it has all the content. And that's the thing, you can create this new platform, but without the content for it, it's going to be hard to pull people over, which is the same reason why people still play MSTS to this day. Simply because they've got the content they want for it, and they don't have that. It hasn't been made in any of the other platforms yet. Now it looks like we've got a 40 limit coming up. So let's slow it down. Are we going up and over here? Looks like it. Again, I've slowed down a little bit and now I'm at 30 already. This might be where we're joining another line. Ooh, we're just struggling to get up this hill. I think it's just splitting down from 4 tracks to 2. Oh, I shouldn't have left the brake on so long. I will say that in this game there are some very steep gradients on parts of the line. In places where you look along it in a straight line like this here and it goes up and down, which I'm not quite convinced by. Again, sort of thing with an editor and workshop support. Should hopefully see some quite realistic maps and routes come out. Ooh, going the wrong way there. I mean, you can see how much it's bouncing around. I feel like there's almost a little bit too much on the suspension, like it should be a bit harder than it is. We'll see what it's like when we go around this bend. It does bounce quite a lot, doesn't it? I'd almost expect a more firm ride from this. But then I've never been on these at high speeds. I think the fastest I'd have been on one of these is about 25 miles an hour on a preserved heritage line. But maybe they did bounce around quite a bit. Anyway, I think we're just coming up to our last stop at Sharley. I think that is the last stop. Again, we're going to be late because of that small mistake. I don't think anyone noticed. Sure they didn't. You know, they'll be looking down at their iPhones and their iPads and with their headphones in. Back in the 1960s, of course. They won't notice. There we go. Here's this thing with the track down and up. Just looks a little bit strange. That's all. And, I mean, the surrounding scenery is a little bit bland, if I'm honest. It could kind of be anywhere, if you know what I mean. And maybe that's the point at the moment, it is just anywhere. It's just generic Englandshire. Anyway, we've got a 50 mile an hour limit here. I think we should slow down plenty of time for that. It would be nice to have some more noticeable landmarks in the scenery and, you know, towns and so on, things like that. And maybe a bit more vegetation. I mean, the trees do seem a little bit plonked down. So it would be nice to see sort of things like that. And like I say, once there's an editor released, it should hopefully be possible. Duck. Tree. Anyway, so this is actually quite a nice route to do, quite fast. Like I was saying, there's loads of different routes you can do. Some have got 4-track, some 4 tracks, like we were on before. Some of them just the 2 here, and sort of goes all over the place. So yeah, it's quite nice. I would generally say I recommend it. But it depends. It might not be your thing, especially if you don't like these sort of old diesel rail cars. Then perhaps it's worth giving a miss for the moment. But especially if it's on sale, I'd say it's a very good buy. If you do like this kind of heritage traction, or you just generally find it interesting, maybe you want to support the developer and help them bring some more things to this, such as locomotives and coaches and stuff like that. It's actually a good point. I've not seen any sort of freight yards or anything like that. It's all just passenger stuff. This is quite a nice view just here. Very sort of Middle England sort of scene, and a busy station. Considering this is all done by one developer, or so it would seem, it's very impressive. They've done a very, very good job of this. So yeah, I think congratulations and well done to them. It is nice. It's very nice to see something sort of fresh and new coming out. So, yeah, very happy with it. And it is great fun to just drive along in. Anyway, there we go. You can see our arrival at Sharley. Our last stop is basically now. So we're going to be about 4 minutes from that, I think, something like that. I mean, we've technically got a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. We're kind of doing 65. You know, we might need to just catch up with speed a little bit. But yeah, do let me know what you think about this game, what you think about it. Have you tried it? Have you made any scenarios for it? Because I loaded up the editor and it seemed a little bit less than intuitive. Hold on, we've got another signal against us. And I would be interested to hear your thoughts on what you think the direction for this is going to be, and why you've got it, or maybe why you're not going to be getting it. To say the distance between the distant signal and the main signal is quite a long way. I reckon it's just going to be behind this bridge, so I can't see it until we get right up to it. Maybe it's because I was, you know, slightly breaking the speed limit. Because I do know it does simulate that. We're sort of slowing down to a limit. They will... it was basically practice to have the distance signal at danger. Although, no, actually, we do need to stop. But it was practice to have the no we don't. We're going the other way. Release the brake. We've got a route into Sharley now, it's turned up. But it would have been practice, like you see there, to hold that outer signal at the warning position so that you do slow down, and then the signaller will change that one to pull off that signal at the right point, so that you're at about the right speed, which was actually how it was meant to happen, so it's quite nice to see it done in here. It looks like I've got a 10-mile-an-hour limit, which I'm kind of breaking. But yeah, there we go, that's us at the end of the route, so... Like I was saying, do let me know what you think about this. And would you like to see me play more of it? Should I try some other of these locos units? Some of the different routes as well? Do let me know. Anyway, I'm not going all the way up to the end. Let's stop in the covers here, shall we? You know, if it rained, I don't want people getting wet by going out to the far end of the platform. How did we do? Oh, this is quite interesting. Basically, what this shows you is, see the red line there is the maximum speed limit, and that shows what it was at the different stages in the route as we went along. So this is time along the bottom and speed up here. So you can see that most of the time we were kind of hitting this about right, actually, going up there. Going a little bit too fast there. Where do you think we lost the most speed then? Definitely here, because that's the target. So that's probably what the AI would drive if it was doing it. So definitely here, because we stopped. Where we passed there 6 minutes late. Although we did actually catch up in the end, so we got 5 minutes late there. So I think that's where we lost most of our time. So yeah. And it does give you a score, so the score is interesting. It penalises you for showing that, you know, that heads-up display of the mini-map. It does penalise you for that. And also the speed limit and things like that. Minutes late, 30 in total. And it also shows you your energy usage, which is quite interesting as well. So there's a few interesting things it is sort of calculating in the background, which is quite interesting to see. But yeah, there we go. That is a bit of a first look at Diesel Railcar Simulator. Do let me know what you think of it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, if you'd like to see more, let me know down below. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.